Hey, photographer, you are here because you're wondering how to actually make more money in your photography business so you can increase what you're earning without booking a shit ton more weddings, without stacking your calendar, and without feeling like the only way to grow is to work more. In this episode, I am going to show you how hybrid photo and video changes your offer so you can raise what each booking is worth and avoid getting stuck in that cycle where more income only comes from more work. Let's get right into it. Hybrid Hangout is literally what it sounds like. This is a place to hang out and talk about what it takes to build a photography business, especially if you're even a little bit curious about adding video. I'm Shay, and I'm so stoked that you've come to hang out with me and talk about the stuff I'm already thinking through after a week of running my photo video business. Here you're gonna find conversations about why photographers are booked up and yet still so stressed about money, why being photo only has a financial ceiling, and why adding video is one of the simplest ways to raise your average booking without blowing up your workload. I shoot photo and video at weddings, sometimes solo, sometimes with a team, and I sell high packages because I'm selling photos and simple story-driven video with the equipment I'm already using. Hybrid Hangout is where I talk about how I do that, how I shoot hybrid photo video in a way that doesn't make the day harder, how I edit both mediums quickly without it taking over my life, how I package and price photo and video so it sells without feeling weird, how I market so things compound instead of resetting every month. There will be strategy. There will be rants. There will be very specific systems. There will be side quests about business, money, confidence, burnout, gear, clients, boundaries, and whatever else I'm deep into at the time. This podcast is about building a smarter photography business, one that includes motion and paying you better. If you like photography, you like money, and you like learning in a way that feels more like hanging out than being taught at, you will probably love Hybrid Hangout. So come on, let's hang out. Most photographers hit a point where they feel capped, and it usually happens when things are technically going well. You're booking consistently, your calendar is filling up, and from the outside, it looks like your business is working. But internally, you start doing the math and you realize that if you want to make more money, your only option is to take on more work, more weddings, more sessions, more editing, more everything. Then the next move is raising your prices. But if your photo offer hasn't changed, then that starts to feel shaky because you're charging more for the same thing. And even if you can justify it, it doesn't feel as solid as you want it to, because that's where people start to feel stuck. Because if you're trying to sell to the same types of people, but you haven't added any value to your offer, then that's a misalignment with where you are in the market. So here's the shift. Video is not just something you add, it's what makes your offer stronger. The goal is not sell video. The goal is to build an offer that's more valuable, so charging more makes sense. My name is Shayna, and I teach photographers like you how to shoot, edit, market, and sell hybrid photo and video in a way that is simple, repeatable, and actually increases what you make per client. In this episode, I want to walk you through how this works from a business standpoint so you stop relying on more bookings to grow and start increasing what each booking is worth. If you stay in a photo-only model, then your growth will always be tied to volume. If you stay in a photo-only model and you're not willing to position yourself any differently, then your growth will be tied to volume, whether you like it or not. If you want to make more, you either have to book more or keep pushing your pricing higher and higher and hope that your bookings hold. There is a limit to both of these. There are only so many weekends in a year, and there's only so much you can raise your prices before you're stretching your offer thin. What usually happens is you end up super busy, but you're not scaling your revenue. You're working a lot, you're delivering a lot, but your income is not increasing in a way that gives you more margin in your life. That is where burnout typically starts for photographers. And it's not because you're doing anything wrong, it's because the model that you're working in, it has its limits. If you are delivering video and still scrambling for music every time you edit, then you're wasting hours that you don't have. Everything on Artlist is high quality, searchable, and actually usable for client work. There's no weird licensing issues, no digging through random sites hoping something fits. On Artlist, I can find a track fast, drop it into my film. I can grab sound effects that fill gaps and help me with storytelling, and then I just move on. If you are editing video consistently, Artlist is just one of those tools that removes friction. I literally use Artlist for every single video project, and I'm not even kidding. I'm such a hoe for Artlist. My affiliate link is in the description if you want to check it out and try it on a discount. When you shift to hybrid photo and video and you structure your new offer correctly, you can remove your income ceiling. You stop relying on more bookings to grow and you start increasing what each booking is worth. You give clients a video and a full experience that feels more complete rather than just more expensive. And this is important. Clients already value documentation and they already love your style, or they wouldn't have booked with you. They already care about remembering their day. When you add video in the right way, you're not creating a new need, you're expanding something that they already care about. That is why the price increase makes sense to them, not because you explained it better, but because the value is inherently clearer. The biggest mistake photographers make when they try to bring video into their business is they're treating it like just a random add-on. They say, "Here's my photography package," and then they say, "Do you also maybe want video?" Question mark. The second you do that, you've positioned video as an optional, non-valuable add-on. Now the client is making a separate decision about whether they want to spend more money on something extra. That is a harder decision, and most people either hesitate or they skip it entirely. What you want instead is for photo and video to work together as part of a stronger offer. That doesn't mean that every single package has to include video, but your highest value option should, because that is where you shift perception. Now, instead of asking if they want to add video, you're showing them what the full version of your work looks like. You're giving them something to step into and not something to tack on. This changes how people buy. They're no longer deciding whether or not they should add video. They're deciding which version of your experience that they want. That is a completely different decision, and it's a much easier one to make. This is also where perceived value comes in, and this is the part that allows you to charge more without it feeling forced. When someone sees photo and video together, they immediately understand that they're getting more than just images. They're getting movement, they're getting sound, they're getting a fuller version of their day. You do not have to over-explain that, and frankly, there's a lot you can do visually before you even get onto a sales call to communicate it. Your clients will feel it, and when they feel it, the price increase makes sense. Let's walk through this in a really simple way. If you are booking weddings at $5,000, just to keep the math simple, you're shooting around 20 weddings a year to get to $100,000, which is a big goal for a lot of photographers. The only way to grow beyond 100,000 without changing your offer is to either take on more weddings or just raise your prices. But if you restructure your offer and your average booking moves to 8,000 or 10,000 because it includes hybrid photo and video, you've increased your revenue significantly without adding a ton of more shoots to your calendar. That is the shift you are looking for. Now, this only works if you position it correctly, and this is where people get awkward. They feel like they have to pitch video or convince clients to want it. You don't need to do that. I never really am convincing anyone of anything on a sales call. If you're a photographer who already knows you want to add video, but you keep getting stuck in research mode instead of actually offering it, then listen to this. Because your clients are already asking about video. And every time you don't offer it, you're leaving thousands on the table from work you're already doing. I put together a free video upsell starter kit that shows you exactly how to fix that. No film school, no complicated setup, just 5 clear steps to start adding video using the camera you already have, or simple add-ons like Super 8 or even your iPhone. You'll learn how to pick your entry point, start practicing in a way that builds demand, add video to your pricing right away, and turn it all into real bookings. If you want to make more per wedding without taking on more clients, this is where you start. Grab the free video upsell starter kit now. If your offer is structured well, most of the selling is done before you get on that call. Your job is to guide the conversation. So instead of saying, oh, at the very end of a call, oh, do you want video? You're connecting it to something they already care about. So in the stage of a call where you're asking a ton of questions, if they're talking about their vows, if they're talking about a moment with family, if they're talking about something that is important to them, you connect video to that thing. You're not pushing it, you're showing them the future. You're showing them how video fits into their priorities. Something as simple as saying, oh, wow, this is exactly the type of moment that's going to look so amazing in your film. You're not over explaining and you're not convincing them. You're helping to paint a picture of the value they will get when they move forward with your photo video package. I get it. Confidence plays a big role here. If you treat video like an extra, then clients will treat it like an extra. If you treat it like it's just part of your core offer, then they're going to see it that way. This isn't about being pushy. It's about being clear. When you can lead a client to something they already want and show them the value, then you are helping them. You know that the final result is stronger when they get photo and video, so you just present it that way. There's also this concern that comes up where photographers think, what if my clients don't want video? And the answer is that some of them don't, and that's fine. You're not trying to force every single person into the same package. You're just building an offer that attracts the right clients and gives them options that make sense. The people who value photo and video will choose it, and those are clients in the future you'll want more of anyway. What matters more is that your offer reflects where you are going, not where you have been. If you want to be known for hybrid photo and video, your offer that you're pushing, I call it the big boy offer in my program Hybrid Hub, that big boy offer needs to reflect that. You can't hide it as an add-on and expect it to drive your business forward or to structure a marketing system around an offer that isn't clearly defined. So if all of this is landing, you probably feel that the issue has not been your pricing. It has been the structure of your offer and how you are presenting it, how you're presenting what you do. So when it comes to charging more without booking more weddings, the real shift is this. You stop trying to grow through volume of bookings and you start growing through the value that you provide. You build and offer a big boy photo video offer that feels more complete. You position hybrid photo and video as part of that, not as something extra. And you guide clients toward the version of your work that gives them more instead of trying to justify them spending more. If you've tried to raise your prices or offer more and it didn't land in the past, it probably wasn't a talent problem. It was a positioning problem. I actually offer a free one-on-one strategy call for photographers like you, and I can help you structure your photo and video offer, your pricing, and how you talk about it so clients see it as an obvious upgrade instead of something optional. And you'll book that at the link below. In that call, I'm also going to tell you about my coaching program, Hybrid Hub, and we're going to see together if it's the right next best step for you. And in a future episode, I will show you what all of this looks like when it's fully working inside of your real business so you can see how this all comes together. So book that call. I cannot wait to chat with you.
Beautiful, gorgeous, perfect